Hey guys, it's Whiskey River here. Welcome back to Path of Titans. And last week in Path of Titans, I played mostly the Sea-Rex and played a little bit of Deino and also some Spearcrest action. This is episode 5 of last week in Path of Titans, and normally I'll drop these maybe once a week. It'll probably be a little more infrequent than once a week, maybe once every other week. It just depends on the other videos that I'm doing. I had a bunch of videos when I was getting ready to do episode 4. I had the whole Dynasty debacle take place, which I've posted a couple of videos on that called Dynasty's Ridiculous Ruling, and then the other one is the update to that. And if you haven't seen them, it's basically just a whole expose on my horrible experience on the Dynasty server, so you can check those out if you want to. But I had to do that. I had to drop my Allo video and my EXA Allo video, and then I finally was able to get back to these last week in Path of Titans episodes. So let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, you've probably, if you play on Apex Killers, seen me playing this Sea-Rex mostly. I gotta admit, I'm actually addicted to this thing. I I never liked these before, but it is just so ironic that it's actually my favorite thing to play right now. It's all I've really been playing. Uh, Honey River and my other friends have all been, joking that they need to send me to rehab for the C-Rex because I won't stop playing it. It's kind of hard to peel me off of this thing to go play something else. And so she'll usually scavenge around with me on the Latin or something like that. But I do play some other things from time to time as well. But the C-Rex is just a lot of fun. I've just been having so much fun with it. I love playing around with all of its different abilities, and I don't know how long it's going to last on this server, so I've been one of the things I've been doing is collecting C-Rex trophies. You can see that's what I'm doing here. I was taking this one back to the home cave, and I'm trying to get the ultra rare trophies. And one of the best things to kill C-Rexes with is another C-Rex. And I don't know, these orcas thought they were going to do something. I'm not really sure what, but I just trapped them on land and killed them. They wouldn't just leave me alone. I was just trying to get to the home cave, so I guess they found out. Then after that, I came back and I saw this Galugor. I'd fought this Galugor earlier, and I couldn't tell why it was such a hard fight. But he's actually pretty good Galugor player. He knows how to use Hunker really well. So I started off with that yeet off the cliff right there. I had to, do the old Mufasa on him to get him low enough health that I knew I could have an advantage in the fight, because he really knew how to use Hunker. And it turns out the reason that I was having such a hard time with him on the previous fight is that the Elder class thing can be bugged sometimes. What'll happen is the Elder class ability sometimes doesn't trigger, so when you first log in onto the C-Rex, it starts growing into Elder, and you'll see the icon with a counter on your screen just above your ability bar there. It's the two pink heads that you see, and it wasn't showing. I didn't realize it at first. It was just something I wasn't paying attention to, because I wasn't expecting it to not be working. And I just was playing along as normal, and I just was getting my butt kicked by everything, and I was taking tons of damage, and it just didn't feel like the C-Rex that I was used to. And at some point, I realized that it wasn't there, so I logged off and logged back on, and then I got the Elder, so then I came back to fight him. And this fight went much differently. It still was a very tough fight, because the Galugor players that know how to use Hunker are very good with them. So it's a really good 1v1, the Galugor and the C-Rex, because the Galugor has an insane amount of armor, and this Hunker ability gives it just tons of defense. And then, of course, as you know, the C-Rex is huge, 8,000 combat weight with 1,000 health, and it's a beast with all of its abilities and stuff like that. So I really utilize the knockback bite with these guys, the shoe fly bite, because when they come in for their charge bite, which is the one that does a lot of damage, you can knock them back and get them out of your face, and then come back in for a hit, hopefully if they're not in Hunker. So sometimes there's long periods of standoffs like this, but really it's the one that's more patient that's going to win, because the key is to attack him when he gets out of hunker, which eventually they all do. So it's kind of like the Anno. You know, the Anno's it plays a lot like an Anno. It's basically a carnivorous Anno. Another good way to beat these guys is to utilize water. If you can get them in the water, then they can't hunker. So that's a good thing to do as well. But you can see this one's doing a good job of getting behind me, and it makes it hard for me to turn to bite him. There's another fight going on there, and in this case, you know, they didn't really have a choice. They chose that little narrow passage right there, and so they had to walk through our fight, which I understand. But sometimes, you know, like you see that land that just ran over here. Like one of the things that's kind of annoying is that players tend to run through the fights or through bodies down, and you know, I don't. It's kind of a fun. I guess it's because there's a lot of concentration of players in a small area. But it tends to be a phenomenon on this server where people, every time I get a body down, somebody wants to come run up on it, and somebody wants to run through your fight, or come, you know, maybe they're trying to just watch your fight, but they get way too close. And, you know, I just want to tell everybody, like, it's nothing personal, but if you interfere with my fight or you come run on my body down, I'm going to attack you. I'm going to assume that you're trying to third party or you're trying to bite me on a body down, because it happens a lot on this server. And so I'm not going to take the chance that you're just friendly and want to come say hi, because most people don't, you know, especially if they think it's me, and there's a lot of haters out there, you know, that want to troll me. So if you're just coming up to say hi, or you don't mean anything by it, but you're, you know, getting into my personal space and I bite you, and you didn't have any bad intentions, then I apologize in advance. But I'm just giving everybody fair warning. You know, if I'm on a body or I'm in a fight and you come up and get near me or get in my personal space, I will attack. Because as I said, I can't take the chance that you're not, you know, a troll or somebody that wants to cause me grief. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody. Disclaimer. That's why I do it, so it's not personal. One of the cool things about the C-Rex is that everybody underestimates it. You know, I've got a build on that I'm immune to fracture, so Deinos that try to bone break me do nothing. OG Rexes that try to bone break me do nothing, so I'm not afraid of the bone break bites at all. In this case, what I'm doing here is I am trying to make these guys think I'm afraid, but what I'm trying to do actually is bait them up onto land, so that once I get them up closer on land, I can keep them back from getting into the water, where I know that's what they're going to do. Obviously, they want to come get hits and then just go into the water where I can't get to them. So if I can turn the tables on them and get them onto land where they're not very maneuverable, then that's what I'm trying to do here. I got lucky here. They got tangled up and couldn't get back to the water in time before I could kill them. I mean, the C-Rex is a high damage dealer, so I knew that's all I really needed, and then got the kill there in the end. And they said something about the C-Rex being OP or whatever, and it is. But I mean, 2 Deinos is easily can kill a C-Rex if they do it right. They just got tangled up and got stuck on land, which was my plan. This is a good example of shoe fly when you're near the water, especially with Galugors like I was talking about earlier. You can knock these guys in the water and it gives you some free bites. Incidentally, they're pretty fast swimmers actually, and they are kind of maneuverable in the water, so they usually do squirrel their way back up onto land again. But if you can get those first few bites on them while they're in the water, then that typically will give you the advantage that you need. Really, if it was 2 good Galugor players, I wouldn't mess with them. But I can tell in the fight right now, like the way they're running and the way they're fighting on the Galugor, they don't know how to play Galugor. Really, you should stay hunkered in the Galugor, just like you saw in that first fight where he got me super low. It was an excellent fight, and that was a single Galugor that I actually had yeeted off the cliff at the very beginning of the fight. And you know, this is 2 Galugors, so they should easily be winning this fight. But I can use the water, and I can see that they're not using hunker properly, so I continued the fight, and I knew it was a good chance I could win it. And then just kind of touching on the it's not personal topic, one thing that I kind of notice happens a lot too that I sort of want to discuss is that sometimes when you kill people, a lot of the time, they get really, really salty. They get all upset and they start getting super toxic in chat, like these Galugars did. They start calling you names. Like this one even bit me again after their teammate's body was down. And then they start going into how you broke rules or how you're a cheap player because you used water. I mean, and they just start going on and on and on. And I just want to remind everybody, guys, like it's not personal. When you get attacked, this is a dinosaur game. Like you're gonna get attacked by carnivores. That's the whole purpose of the game. So it's not because somebody's like, personally attacking you or has some sort of a problem with you or is trying to, do anything personal against you. They're just playing a dinosaur game and they're on a carnivore and they're hunting. And I mean, that, before you even get into the game, that's how this game works. So it's kind of silly to get all upset and start hurling insults and being toxic in chat because somebody killed you. I mean, it's different if somebody's targeting you and killing you over and over and over again, more than 3 times in a row or whatever. I get that, but it's like, it happens a lot when you just hunt somebody. Like you're a carnivore hunting a herbivore and then they call you trash or they call you this or that and the other because they died. And I know it's it's upsetting when we die. That's never the outcome that we want, but you have to realize it's going to happen. And if you're not okay with that, then just, you can go to a realism server that has super strict rules that makes it almost impossible for anything to hunt you because they've got so many rules prohibiting it. You're probably going to break one if you even try to hunt anything. You can go play on one of those servers and never get hunted, walk around in a 50 deep para herd, have yourself a great time, never get hunted. But if you're going to come on, especially Apex Killers, where it's primarily a PvP server, it is a semi-real PvP server. Don't cry about it in chat when you die or get killed, or don't act like it's some type of a personal attack on you, because it's not. It's just players trying to hunt. This is a example of there's a couple of them here, but the Gigas are actually very, very strong, and they are very capable of taking out a C-Rex if they do it right. But I just find one of the things that I find kind of funny is that people underestimate the C-Rex, like I was saying before. Like these two guys, they thought they had a huge advantage because there was 2 Gigas, and I saw them coming, and you saw me charge at the very beginning down to the water where I knew I had an advantage, but they didn't think that I saw them, and I did. And it's not that I'm trying to show off skill or anything in that fight. It's more of how powerful the C-Rex is, and to display like you don't want to underestimate it. Even with 2 Gigas, it's not going to be an easy fight. You can do it, but you got to be careful. You can't just run headlong into battle and start chomping bites. You got to have a plan. And that's my point to showing some of those fights. I did a short and somebody's like, oh dude, that's nothing special, the C-Rex is OP, and I was kind of like, yeah, that's my point. I mean, that's why I'm showing it. They had no idea what they were getting themselves into, so I just thought it was kind of funny, and that's the whole purpose of showing the video, not to show that I'm some kind of a great player or anything like that. This is another one too. This guy, he's actually a good Giga player, and I've seen him, tail ride. He's a good tail rider, but if you know how to deal with a tail ride like this, and you know how they fight, and you know how to predict them, you can handle it. And again, the C-Rex is very strong, and it's really, I've got a huge advantage just being on this creature. But because this player is a good tail rider and has killed probably many C-Rex players, it was a challenging fight for me, because I wanted to show that, if you actually know how to play the C-Rex, you can't just get tail ridden super easily. And that was a good fight there, an example of that, and how to utilize the C-Rex to fight against tail riders. This was another one where this guy thought he was being sneaky. This is how you can counter an ambush. I totally saw this ambush coming, but he thinks I'm just not paying attention, but I was. And he leads with the hot spit bite, and that's a low damage bite, so right away I know that I'm trading a hot spit bite with a regular bite, and I've already got a lead in the damage in a face tank fight. I already know that I'm winning it because I got, you know, a full bite of damage, and he only got a little tiny trickle of damage with that little hot bite. That's one way to counter ambushers. You basically just pretend like you're not looking at them and then surprise them instead of them surprising you. This is a good fight against a Dominus. I had been wanting to fight one, and I finally got one to attack me here, and I wanted to see how this fight would go. It's my first time being able to fight a Dominus. This is an experienced Dominus player. I see them playing on this Dominus all the time. And there's two Dominus, this one and an orange one, that always hang out right here. You'll see them fighting each other often, and they you know, like to attack the other carnivores and stuff. So this was I was really glad to have this fight. I'm glad that they chose it. That's one of the things about the Dominus. In order to fight them, they're going to have to want to fight you, because they can just fly away if you try to attack them, usually. Which actually is kind of the case with most creatures when you're on the C-Rex. One of the things about it is that you can only fight stuff that really wants to fight you. Most things can run away from you. And the things that can't run away are beefy and can kill you. But they messed up there and got caught in the water when they were trying to do that heavy bite on me, and that was my key to victory in this fight here. That, and then my knockback bite with the shoe fly, I'm able to keep them out of the sky, like in this case right here. As long as I can keep them from flying away, I can kill them. This was another one of the big threats to the C-Rex is the OG Rex with Terrible Roar. If they've got Terrible Roar, they'll absolutely melt you. And I saw this guy here doing his Terrible Roar and knew that he was out for me. So the first priority here is just waiting out that Terrible Roar. If I can wait that out, then I know I have a chance at winning this fight. And that's one of the things that makes the C-Rex super OP, is that it's semi-aquatic, so you can just do this when you don't want to fight something, or you need to wait a Terrible Roar call out, or any kind of stalling, healing. You know, you can just get out of the you can control the combat basically by using the water. Now I'm not done with this fight. I'm just waiting for that Terrible Roar is a 60-second timer, so I'm just waiting that out. That Rex is far enough away now that he could just run away if he wants to. But I got lucky enough that they wanted to fight. And that is one of the weaknesses of the C-Rex, is that it's very slow. So you can't run anything down. All your fights are going to be fights with players that actually want to fight you, at least most of them anyway. The stuff that's slower than you can easily kill you, which is mainly sauropods, maybe a great triceratops. All those things are very deadly to the C-Rex. And then the other thing being bleed. Anything with bleed, you know, C-Rex does not heal from bleed very well, so bleeders are very good, very big threats to the C-Rex. So in this case, I'm just roaring and hoping that this guy wants to come fight me. Maybe he'll have a little bit of confidence and not realize that he's at a huge disadvantage without his Terrible Roar active, and got lucky enough that that's what happened. C-Rex does have better turning than the OG Rex, and without his Terrible Roar, I'm also doing more damage. I'd be better off with Face Tank in this fight, but I happen to have Shoe Fly on, and I was still able to beat him with a pretty good chunk of health left. Now here, these Sarcos, they actually watched me fight. I was fighting a Golugor, and in the middle of the Golugor fight, two Tyranno Titans come running down and start attacking me as well. I was able to get their attention in general chat, and they ran away. But these Sarcos watched all that happen, and then they came and attacked me anyway. So they basically fight camped. They knew I was low, and were trying to take advantage of an easy kill, easy cheap kill. So I was in bad trouble here because these Sarcos do a lot of damage, and you can see my health. So my only hope is to use the environment and hope that these guys aren't smart enough to realize that. And in my experience, the players that like to fight camp or third party or just pick off the cheap, easy kills tend not to be the smartest. And there's my opening. Try to get behind me on a cliff, and off he went. Gave him the old Mufasa treatment, and I'll come back down to eat my kill. Played a little bit of Deino. Saw this Moza. He was attacking and killing Dinos in the river. And so I see him coming for me. He's chasing me from behind here. So I'm going to go try to position myself where I'll have a bit of an advantage in the fight. And I'm preparing for a really, really tough fight here. Surprisingly, I just hit him with a fracture, shell crusher, and a few bites. Don't let him get behind me, and he dies. And you can see my health is 95%. So it was surprisingly easy since he killed those other Dinos, but maybe those guys were new Deino players. And then lastly, I played some Spearcrest with my friend Rampage, and so we'll show you this clip and end this video with a bang. As always, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you out there in Gondua. Goodbye.